Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new episode of the Dubai Real Estate Podcast. And today my guest is a repeat guest for the first time on the show, Mr. Steven Leckie, a very dear friend and also a real estate agent in Dubai. He's one of the oldest agents I personally know and someone I also look up to if I need advice, and a great gentleman. So without wasting any further time, I would like to straight go into the show and discuss with him what's going on in the Dubai real estate market currently. But before I do that, if you're watching this on YouTube, please do subscribe to my YouTube channel. Your likes, comments, and shares are really appreciated. Now let's cue the music. Hi, Steven. Welcome back on the show. You're actually the first guest to come back second time.
No way.
Yes.
Well, thank you. I'm honored.
No, it's my pleasure to have you back. Also, to let you know that the kind of feedback I received from the first episode we did together, a lot of people actually sent me messages, DMs saying it was really amazing. We got to learn a lot. And so I thought, I need to have you back on the show.
No way. Do you know what happened? It was very funny.
Yeah.
I was in Bay Square in Business Bay. I never go there, but I went there. And this local guy and two local ladies came up to me.
Okay.
And the guy shook my hand and he said, "I've seen you on YouTube." And he wanted a photograph of me and everything.
Very good. So did you give him or no?
I don't think we got that far. We just had a little chat. That's it. That was
That's
a
nice.
Guy.
That's
Yeah.
nice.
That's the only time I've ever been recognized.
That's
But
great.
Yes, that's because of
Maybe-
your podcast. Yeah.
Maybe after this episode, maybe you'll have more people coming up to you.
Who knows?
Yeah.
I'm taking autographs, no problem.
So how has the market been so far for you
What, this year?
this year?
Well, since we met, it's been one of the best years in real estate in
Yes.
Dubai, as far as I'm concerned. Personally, financially, it's probably not as good as it was in 2006, 2007,
Yes.
because that was crazy time.
Right.
But from the point of view of making some really good deals, speaking to some more serious people not just thinking about flipping and trying to make a quick buck, etc.
Right.
It's much more of a sensible proposition now. I think
Okay.
you must be finding the same thing.
Yes,
now.
it is.
People are being more realistic. They are
Absolutely.
asking more of the right questions. It's not just greed involved
True.
in the market. There's a lot more sensible conversations going on
Right.
that. This year has been very successful for myself and many other people in my company.
That's good to know.
Good year.
Where do you see the markets heading? Do you see the markets will rise up even further? Or do you think it'll stabilize? You think there's going to be a correction? What do you see personally?
So I've never been one to tell the future.
No, I know we cannot predict the future because...
No, but I can tell you there's a few things which are encouraging.
Yeah.
Okay, so rents are gone up, increased.
Yes.
So the return on investment for many people is very good still, even though prices have gone up. What's the other thing that's, I think, I don't see an oversupply situation at the moment.
Right.
I know that the guys in our resale department are finding it very difficult to find good inventory and houses and apartments to sell.
Sure.
They're finding it more and more difficult. And that's not because of the amount of people in the market and the amount of agents. It's more about people are holding on to their properties or there just aren't enough properties around.
Right.
These are the fundamentals. I think the situation that the government have introduced into the visa situation, into legislation, into making it easier for people to open businesses here, the infrastructure improvements, the plans for the metro, the plans for 2040, sorry.
Yeah.
I think all these things are very positive. So where do I see the market? I would love to say it's going to double in the next 3 or 4 years, but I don't think that's realistic.
True.
I think what's realistic is that we will see a continually steady increase. I read a statistic the other day. It was a survey that had been done by a company, a worldwide company. I can't remember the name of them, but they were talking about Dubai price per square foot. The average price, they actually talked in meters, but we talk in square feet.
Right.
So anyway, I'm being pedantic. So average square meters in comparison to around 300 cities in the world.
Right.
Now, someone asked me at the beginning, where do you think Dubai is? The top 40? Which I think, obviously we're not in the top 10, the Paris, London,
Right. No,
New York.
absolutely not.
We'll probably never be that level, or maybe we will, who knows. We're 173.
Wow.
And a week later, I looked at it again, we're 178.
Okay.
So what is that? Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
We are nowhere near
Right.
the potential of the property
Absolutely.
market in Dubai. Now, will I see, when I see some of the prices that people are paying for 5-bedroom houses in Dubai Hills, I think, well, how then that's possible? But people are.
Yeah.
And people are happy to buy that, and they're making money, and etc. So, 1-bedroom apartments in JVC now, you won't find anything for much less than $1 million.
Yes.
Who would have thought? You and I, we both sold
Definitely.
a lot in JVC.
Yes.
And yes, we sold it there for rental yield. It's always been very good for rental yield. It's always been very good for occupancy levels. But we could never, hand on our heart, say you're going to make a load of money.
True.
But now people are making good money, even in JVC. So,
Absolutely.
long may it continue. I don't see a downturn, to be honest. I see hopefully a leveling off the market. We don't want prices to go too crazy,
Sure.
simply because it will become a less attractive place for people to come and live. So although obviously my clients would like to see growth, I think most of them are not buying it for that. They're buying for yield, return, and also to live in.
Right.
So I don't want to see prices continually to increase at the rate they have since COVID.
Okay.
I don't know if you agree with that.
Absolutely. No.
Is it going to happen? I don't know if it's going to happen. It depends what's happening in the geopolitical arena in the whole of the world, because we certainly seem to be benefiting from higher taxes, the way that the country dealt with COVID,
Yes.
etc. So, there's some very positive things happening in this country at the moment.
Absolutely.
And long may they continue.
Down.
Does that answer your question?
Yes,
it's a very
does.
long-winded answer.
I know, but that's fine.
But am I right?
That's
Do
good
you
information.
agree?
Yeah, absolutely. Because look, when you see the price per square foot in Dubai, and as you said, right, if you see a global index and where you see the price per square foot is, now what a lot of times people are doing is they're comparing the prices of Dubai to Dubai 5 years back.
Yeah.
But they're not seeing that for the same amount of money, what do you get elsewhere around the world? So when you put that on a global perspective to a comparable city, which would be, say, a London or a New York or Miami, you're still getting property in Dubai at a much cheaper price per square foot than any of these places. And we have probably the best of best over here.
Yeah, I mean, look, there is no doubt about it, but what you're getting for your money today is far better than what you've got 5 or 10 years ago in Dubai. Absolutely. I'm not saying across the board, but on the whole, the majority of apartments are far better built, much better quality.
Yes.
They're much more efficient spaces. The developers are using the latest technology in terms of design, but also in terms of materials, etc. I think, and I'm not saying across the board, but most of the good developers are giving someone a much better more bang for their buck, basically. There was a report recently, I think it was UBS, they were talking about there was a price, we're about 5 or 6% off the highs of 2014. What they didn't take into account is inflation. I mean, that $1 million dirhams in 2014 is not the same as $1 million dirhams today.
Absolutely.
And yet, so if you even just look at that figure, plus the difference in the quality of project you're getting today and the communities that they built,
Absolutely.
There's a lot of good things to say about Dubai property. I don't think we're not able to tell people that we're in a mature market, but we're definitely getting there.
Market is maturing slowly.
It's improving all the time. It's nowhere near what it was 10 or 15 years ago by any stretch.
I totally agree. Tell me something. This year we saw that, people from the UK were always one of the investors in the Dubai's real estate market, but especially this year we've seen that they're amongst the top 3 nationalities investing in Dubai. What is the main reason for that?
Safety.
Okay.
That's number one.
Okay.
Honestly, everybody I speak to from the UK,
yes,
they talk about look, I'm not going to speak to anybody that's in the UK who's interested in Dubai and is really happy living in the UK.
Right.
Of course, I don't speak to those people.
Yes.
I only speak to people who are unhappy with what's going on in the UK.
Yeah.
And they speak of safety, definitely, is number one. Probably the most important thing, but I think also the laws and legislation that are going into place to control the property investment market in terms of rents, what rights the tenant has, what the landlord has to do to an apartment to be able to rent it out. You know, the UK. I'm sorry if you're from the UK, but it's a nanny state, you know.
Yeah.
Anything. Do you know what I mean by a nanny state? It's basically everything you do is the government want to have either a piece of the action or they want to tell you how to do it. And I think people in England or the UK they're not sort of people that like that type of control,
right.
And so they are thinking about elsewhere.
Right.
And it's not just Dubai; it's other places in the world. But Dubai is obviously very attractive for them because of obviously tourism. They've been here on holiday, they're visiting it. British Asians who are investing a lot here are used to this area because they stop off on the way to India and Pakistan and Nepal and whatever, Bangladesh. And so that's a positive.
Right.
What other reasons? They know that they are in for a rough ride over the next 5-10 years because of tax. There is the political situation in the UK as well. There is the fear that another party will come in and change things substantially, so much higher taxes.
Right.
And there will be higher taxes over the next few years to pay for the COVID and to pay for extra defence spending. And the government are going to be looking in all sorts of ways to make that money.
Right.
Yeah, is that? What are you finding? Are you finding any other things that you're speaking to the UK?
It's the same thing. You know, everybody's concerned about safety, about the taxes. It's the life in general.
Controls.
Controls, and everything is being like people are just not happy.
Yeah,
that's
true.
Yeah, people are just not happy. Yeah. They just want to get out.
It's a great place to go for holiday.
It is.
Yes.
I mean, I love UK for a holiday.
Yeah.
But that's about. I mean, holiday lasts 1-2 weeks. That's it.
Yeah. I'm going back at Christmas for the first time in many years. I'm not looking forward to the cold and the wet, and the amount of money I probably have to spend on all the gifts and presents and dinners and things to make up for the times that I haven't been there at Christmas. But I'm very happy to be going back.
Great.
It'll be nice.
What do you think of? Off lately, obviously the markets have grown in the last few years, and with the growth in the market, a lot of companies have come up. A lot of new real estate agents have come up in the market. What do you think of the new agents who are coming into the market? I mean, there's nothing wrong in them coming in the market, but there are a lot of people coming in with no experience and mis-selling, not giving the clients the correct information. What do you think of that situation?
Well, look, I think to a certain extent it's gone on since the very beginning.
Yeah.
There have been people with very short-term views on the market and in the real estate business, and it's top down. It's not just guys coming in here. It's not about them. It's about their bosses, the owners of their companies, etc. Even some developers, they have very short-term view in terms of the product they're delivering, in terms of customer service, in terms of what they're going to promise the client. I was talking about this today. Someone, I get asked the question by so many investors, who are your top 5 developers? And I'm going to change my answer now. I used to tell people who they are, and I said, well, look, there's a lot of really good developers, small, medium, and large size. I would rather tell you about the 5 or 6 developers that I don't think you should deal with. And if you do get offered projects by those from agents for those 5 or 6 developers, I know you know who they are. I can't tell you who they are because we're not allowed to say things like that. Yeah. But if anybody wants to talk to me or we can tell people there's 6 or 7. You could probably think of maybe a little bit more. I think there's probably about 8 developers.
Stay away from.
Just stay away from it. And if an agent offers you those, you know to go and find another agent.
Absolutely.
Because they are appalling.
Yes.
Sorry, a strong word, but really. So what do I think about, look, I've always got my being in my bonnet about developers, because developers, salespeople do what they're told.
Yes.
They only have their project. So, there's plenty of analogies. If you want to buy a Sony TV, you don't just go to the Sony TV shop. You go to the shop that sells all sorts of different TVs.
True.
So that you can compare it. If you go to the Sony TV shop, that's because you're a very loyal customer of Sony. And that's what you want to buy, and I get that, and that's why people go directly to EMA, they go directly to whoever.
Yes.
Simply because they like their project,
Yes.
they bought from them before, and they got some history. But if you don't know the market, you need a good agent who's going to explain all the different developers, the good, the bad, and the ugly, the reasons, the pros and cons of buying from each, and which developer, etc.
True.
So I can't blame the developer staff, but at the same time, it's not a good situation. And I think also there's agents out there who are being told. I was copied on a WhatsApp conversation with a developer today by the owner of my company. And he was the agent from the developer was saying to Simon, would you bring your team to come and see our project? And Simon said, look, we're not that keen on hotel apartments. It's not a and the guy said, well, why not? And he said, well, because they're very difficult to resell. And he said, "Oh, you don't want to worry about that. We don't worry, but we only worry about selling. You don't. Your client is. You just have to sell. You don't have to worry about the client in the future. It's not your business." And as Simon said, well, if there's enough agents out there in the market who feel like that, then we're going to be very safe as a company, because
absolutely
those guys will not be around for very long.
Absolutely true.
I don't know. What are those guys that probably move around? They'll go to the next best thing after, if business is if they're not selling, etc. I've had guys in my team recently who I've listened to on the phone, and they're no longer in the company because they are not saying the right things. And I don't get into details, but you can't have people like that.
True.
It's a great shame.
There
are too many agents, basically. That's for sure.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, I heard a figure of 15,000 real estate agents in Dubai.
Yes.
Do you know that?
Yes. 15,000 companies.
15,000 companies,
yes.
is it? Wow.
And the number of agents, I think, is 50 or 60,000.
Okay, so if you've got 15,000 companies and 10,000 transactions are happening every month,
exactly,
you've got to have some desperate salespeople
100%.
out there who are not earning any
Absolutely.
money. Because it just doesn't make sense to have a business if you're only selling one property every 6 weeks.
Yes.
I'm glad to say I'm not in that. There are times when I haven't sold a property for 6 weeks, but that tends to be when I've gone on holiday.
Exactly.
But yes, no.
What advice would you give anyone who's starting new in real estate today?
What do I tell? Look, you've got to go drive around Dubai, get lost.
True.
Go and go down the wrong roads. Understand the different communities. Understand the reasons why you would want to live in a certain community. Number one, you've got to understand the motivation from the minute you talk to a client is why is he buying. You've got to listen. A lot of the time, and then try and translate that into something. What else? I think a lot of new agents, particularly, are stuck on detail about the size of the apartment, the price per square foot. Obviously not price per square foot, but certainly the details, how many sizes, how many apartments there are in a building. Those sorts of things are not important. You need to understand where the country's going, where the city's going, what the rules and regulations are. You've got to understand the story behind Dubai.
Absolutely.
And why Dubai is a good story to tell people. And you've got to know about the good and the bad as well. You know why you can't do certain things. Why it's so difficult to open up a bank account here. Why is it? Why are some developers very harsh on payment plans, etc. You've got to understand all those sort of nuances of the market. Right. I think it's very tough for people to come into the market, to be frank, at the moment, because there's so much there's so many options. It's difficult for investors, let alone agents. Now, we've been in this market for a very long time. I've been in it, 18 years? What are you, about 12 years?
Yes.
So, we know a lot, and I'm pretty certain you're confused at times, because I certainly am confused, because there's so many different projects being launched in a week.
I mean, off lately, it's too overwhelming, because it's so difficult to keep a track of what's launching.
Yes.
And what project should I send? I mean, it's what is happening is, before you even study the project, because I'm sure that even you, before you send it out to any client, you would want to study it yourself to see whether it makes sense or no, right? And nowadays what is happening is, before you even study the project completely, understand everything, put numbers together, most of the developers are saying it's sold out, right? Now, obviously people are selling whatever's coming their way, but whether everything which is being sold is at the right price or no, that's a big question. And there's so many new projects which are coming in that it's very difficult to keep a track, right? And plus there's so many new developers now in the market as compared to, say, 5 years back, where you could count and there were some 15, 20 developers, and now there's so many developers in the market that it's difficult to keep track.
I agree with you totally. I think that I've seen some projects being launched recently that have sold out very fast.
Yes.
And I think that's because they have been promoted by agents and agencies who are purely motivated by commission.
Absolutely.
And are not looking at the long-term picture. They kind of just quote buyer beware and all this.
Yes.
And they're not really providing the right advice, or they are overselling projects, frankly, and it surprises me that, to be honest, that some of these investors are actually buying these projects, because if just a small amount of research. Shall I give you an example? You might have to cut this out.
Sure.
But I'm not going to name a name.
Yes, please.
But there are developers out there at the moment who are selling studios and one-bedroom apartments with swimming pools on the balcony.
Yes.
Not swimming pools, but plunge pools on the balcony.
Jacuzzis.
Jacuzzi is okay. Jacuzzi is a product that you can't really put it on a balcony because it's far too heavy. But if you could put it on a balcony, and the structure for the balcony was good, I don't see an issue with the jacuzzi, because that tends to be something you can buy off the shelf, and there are people around to service it, and you kind of know that after 5 or 10 years you have to throw it away anyway. A pool on your balcony for a property that's going to be around for the next 100 or 200 years, or 50 years, or 30 years, that ain't going to exist. I'm sorry to say. The cost of maintaining that just alone, the thought that if you're in the sun and you get into a pool which is 2 or 3 feet deep, or a meter deep, you're not going to want to get in that pool in the summer. It's unless you've got some amazing chiller appliances, the chilled water, and if you have, that's going to cost you a lot of money. You can imagine all these different elements about having a pool on the roof, the structure, the leaking, the possibility, the fact that even a swimming pool sitting in the ground has to be maintained on a very regular basis, both with cleaning, stopping leaks, all the machinery, if there is any machinery, and I doubt there is in a lot of these. What do you think? Is there? You ask these developers, tell me about how you're going to build that. What's it going to be made of? What equipment is going to be looked after? Who's going to maintain that?
Yes.
They don't have the answers.
They don't know.
And if you're buying a 30 or 40 million
that's a different thing.
And you've got a pool on the deck, or
that's
completely different because that's going to be quality. But a 1 million dirham, or an 800,000 studio with a pool on it, sorry, but forget it. And I don't think really people want it.
No, absolutely. I mean,
Well,
someone
they're not going to be able to use it anyway.
I mean, look, if you think from a practicality point of view, that if I was to rent a studio,
Yes.
and if I'm going to rent a studio, what do I want? Do I want a bigger balcony, or do I want a better indoor space, a well-planned layout, good
Yeah.
quality, good finish,
Yeah.
or do I want a pool outside? Because
Yeah.
typically, a person wanting to stay in a studio is someone who's come here to take a job, do some,
Make friends.
make friends, and
He's a single person.
He's a single person.
Yeah.
He wants to just go out.
He wants to go down to the pool and join his friends at the pool.
And not be
Sit in a pool on his
exactly.
own.
so that's that. Because again, with things like this, if you don't use it, then maintaining it is a bigger hassle, right? Because cleaning is also a big thing, right? Because you don't want to go outside in your balcony with a dirty pool
which it
next
will
to
be.
it, right? Which might
There's dust in
know,
the air.
yeah,
You've got
it's-
constantly having to clean it.
exactly. So that is, I totally agree with you that this is something which it's a good.
Have you sold any properties with pools?
No.
I wouldn't.
No.
Well, I say I wouldn't. If a client said, I still want to buy after all those things you told me, then maybe I would help them buy
Yeah,
it. But,
I mean that's a different thing. If the person says yes, I want it for a reason, that's a different thing because
but
they
I would
really want
persuade
it.
someone.
Yes.
And those properties that have got pools, what are they going to be worth in the future? I'm sorry, but but that's where you have developers and salespeople in estate agents or real estate agents who are offering this kind of project without thinking the whole process through.
True.
Yeah, it's a great sales gimmick, but
Yes, 100%.
that's all it is.
It is.
It sounds like a great idea.
Yeah.
And I get it,
Yes.
but when you
Similar to the 1% payment plans. Because look, I mean, if you see logically, even if you're paying 1% a month, right, and the project takes 3 years, you're paying 36%. Plus, on top of it, you're paying 20% as down payment,
yes.
which makes it 56%. And then there's again a payment on handover. So technically, you're anyways paying 70-80% of the property value till handover.
Yes.
And there's only a small component which is a post handover for 1 month. And you'll find
Isn't it interesting, those people who've got the 1% payment plans, if you look at their price per square foot in the neighbouring building,
it's extremely high.
so high.
It's so high that
Yes.
it would be much better to buy in a development which is offering you maybe a 50-50 payment plan or a 60-40 or even a 70-30 and take a mortgage for the rest 30%. You'll still be buying the property much cheaper.
If you really like that project
Yeah.
that's got the 1%, wait until it's finished. You'll buy it for less than you could buy it today.
Absolutely.
3 years later,
Yes.
you'll buy it probably for less, and you'll get a mortgage of 50% or
80%
20-80.
yeah.
And all that money you would have spent on interest for the mortgage, you'll be ahead of the game still.
Yes.
I pretty much guarantee that.
Yeah.
With any of those properties.
True. Absolutely
It's-
true.
there's no reason to have a 1%.
Exactly.
And by the way, if you're late by 1 day, penalties come
Penalties
into play.
come in. Yes.
So just imagine you having to, just from an admin point of view.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Currency exchange, all these things that you have to
Yes.
take into account of. No.
No, that's true.
I'm
That's
glad
true.
you agree on that.
No, I totally
we agree
agree.
on a lot,
Yes.
don't we? And we didn't rehearse this.
No, not at all. What are your thoughts on Palm Jebel Ali?
Yeah.
Because you've seen it not just launch but relaunch.
So you're really putting me on the spot here because I don't want to. I think. What do I think about Palm Jebel Ali? I think if I was one of the first buyers in the last month or so, great. I think you'll make money. You'll make money simply because the developer will increase the prices along the way during the construction.
Right.
And you will be able to undercut the market when you want to resell.
Right.
Yes?
Yes.
I think that there will come a time, and I may be wrong, that you will not have the opportunity to make money on the prices that they will sell properties to you at Jebel Ali. And the reason for that is I think that I would recommend wholeheartedly, if you've got 20 million dirhams to spend on a house in Jebel Ali and you're looking at it for investment, then I think there are probably better places to put your money in Dubai where I can be more confident of the outcome. Now, if you like Jebel Ali because of the location, and you like it because it's on the palm and you're going to have a house on the beach, and I think actually the prices are reasonable for if you tick those boxes,
Yes.
get it totally. If you're looking at it purely for investment, early investors, no problem.
Yeah.
Next year, the year after, not so sure.
True.
What do you think?
No, I agree because look, people, especially if you're getting into Palm Jebel Ali for the short term, I think it's not for the short term players.
No.
It is for a long
No,
term.
I think people who may have invested, whether it's queues and
Yeah.
all these people lining up overnight to buy properties, if they bought there and they decide they want to flip in a year's time, I think they'll probably make money.
Yeah, but if with the more supply coming in,
Yes.
I feel that somewhere it's a long bet.
a long game.
It's a long game because
Yeah.
for the place to also develop and come up, I think
Yes.
it's going to take easily 5-7 years by the time you can actually drive there and go into.
You think these houses that they've sold 2 or 3 months ago, or whenever it was, 2 months ago, do you think when are they going to be handed over? Realistically.
I think they would take at least 4-5 years, definitely, because it's not just about building the house, but it's also about the infrastructure.
Yes.
And
Have you been to Deira Islands?
Yes, I have.
That's, I think, is a much more
Yes,
interesting
I think
proposition.
that is one place which is still undervalued. And if you go there, I recently
Infrastructure's
visited.
there.
The infrastructure is there. The beach is amazing.
Yeah.
And with the kind of the road network which they are actually building, and just some time back I went there for the first time inside the island, and when I saw the road connectivity and what they're doing even near Rashid Yachts and Marina,
Yes.
the road works. I think in the next 1 or 2 years, or maybe even earlier, once that whole thing is completed, from downtown, it'll take you probably 20 minutes to reach there.
Oh,
which
probably
is-
less.
yes, probably less because
I don't remember what the name of the road is. That road that comes sort of Karama way,
Yes.
and down towards Maritime City,
Yes.
and Rashid Yachts and Marina,
Yes,
they're calling
yes.
it now. That road, they're doing an amazing
Exactly.
amount of work on it.
Yes.
And I didn't think there was a problem with that road, but when you consider where it's going to connect,
Yes.
what's that new bridge called? Is it Infinity Bridge?
Infinity Bridge. Yeah.
Have you been on that bridge?
Yes, it's amazing.
Where did that
It's
come
amazing.
from?
Yes. So the whole road network and all, I feel that is something which in the next few years we'll see that establish, way better, especially with Rashid Yachts and Marina coming up, Maritime City coming up, and with the new bridge they've announced connecting the Dubai Islands to Rashid Yachts and Marina.
Really?
Yes. So they're doing one from, I think it's, if I'm not mistaken, it's the Island A to Rashid Yachts and Marina. They're going to have a flyover.
So exactly what they should have done with the Palm Jumeirah.
Yes. So
Another
then what will
entry and
happen is
exit.
that whole community
Yeah.
will become very well with its connectivity.
I really like your Rashid
Plus,
Yachts
I
and
think it's
Marina.
very close to all the major places you would like to go to, like the airport. It's closer to downtown, DIFC,
It's the nearest waterfront development to the airport,
Yes, absolutely.
which may not mean much today, but when you arrive and then you want to get on in a taxi or
Yes.
get in your car to go for your holiday,
Yes,
or your holiday resort or your holiday home, etc., that's a big plus for people.
Totally.
Do you really want to go and spend another hour, 45 minutes? It's a psychological thing.
yes,
If you want to go to Palm Jebel Ali from the airport, what's that, an hour and a half?
easily.
Yeah, during the day, it's going to
Yes.
be a lot more than that.
With the
But,
traffic going
depends
on,
what time.
yes.
But look, we can talk about traffic as well. That's another thing. I'd love to get your views on that. But I think I'm very excited by that area. I really like Maritime City.
Yeah.
I like the whole idea. I'm so pleased they've finally got their act together and actually started to build there. I was there only on was Friday, I think. Friday, I was spent like 3 or 4 hours walking around and meeting some clients down there. Rashid Yachts and Marina, good value.
Absolutely.
Is it like less than 2,000
Yes.
dirhams a square foot?
Yes.
Which for a waterfront, okay, you're not going to get anything with a sea view right
But
now.
you're still a minute walk away from the water.
Yeah, can you
Yeah,
imagine?
yeah.
And it's EMA.
Yes.
And it's a great community. And it's got the 500 metres swimming pool.
Yeah.
It's got some nice gardens. It's going to have lovely shops and restaurants.
True.
Eventually, it's going to have nice hotels and
Yes.
whatever. Yeah, there's no beach, unfortunately.
Yeah.
They were going to have a beach originally, but I think they took that away.
I think that might be in the later stages, yeah.
No, I don't think. I think they've taken it away completely now. Maybe they're going to reintroduce it, but there is going to be a beach club. There's going to be a beach club at the end of the pier, so to speak. Yeah, I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Big fan. Big fan.
Definitely. That area, I think,
Yeah.
is still undervalued and
Yes.
has got good potential.
Yes.
Which other projects are you seeing which you're more bullish on?
I really like Expo City.
Yeah.
I keep going
That's
on about
amazing.
it. I'm just not just because of the payment plan. I just think what a look. Everybody around the world is talking about sustainability.
Yes.
I don't think that Dubai's really caught on to the idea of sustainability. We're still driving massive, huge, gas guzzling motor cars, etc.
Yes.
We're still building big and wider roads, but I think sustainability is going to be very important going forward, and people are going to take that much more seriously. And I think Expo, if you just look at the sustainability element of it, I think that's going to be a fabulous option. And then when you talk about a 15 or 20-minute city, electric, all the vehicles underground.
Yes.
You're going to be able to walk. You're going to get on these electric scooters, which, by the way, you'd never get me on. But bicycles, I go on a bicycle, no problem. And those golf carts, etc. The mall's already there. The metro's already there. The exhibition centre, which I'm sure they're going to make even bigger.
Yes.
There's space to make it bigger. That big car park by the sound of it, I'm pretty certain they're going to extend the.
I think it's got everything you need to live.
Yeah. And I've got a couple of guys on my team who are living in those original residences.
Yes.
The ones that were
Opposite
built
the
for
metro
the
station.
actual
Yes.
Expo staff and everything, and they're now renting there. They love it.
Yeah.
Just love it. And their
So
families.
yeah,
They've got
I know,
kids.
and people staying there, they're really liking that
Yeah.
place. They like how it is, and I mean, I feel that place has a great future. I think the whole concept behind that Expo City, I think there's nothing else which is like that in Dubai.
No, agree. Agree.
Especially like even I mean small things like they have shaded walkways, which is something which is a must in Dubai. I would say, like we really can't walk outside in the summers, and that's something really nice.
No, if you go in between those buildings that they've actually got now,
Yes.
it's cooler to walk during the buildings.
Yes.
Not because it's in the shade, it's because somehow they've designed it.
They've designed it in such a
I don't know
manner.
how it works,
Yeah.
but it's incredible. And all those big companies are going there. They're liking the free zone element of
True.
it. There will be lots of F&B over there.
Yeah.
Now, the only objection I'm getting from everybody I talk to who hasn't been there is they talk about, it's too far away. And I think that's come from agents who are too lazy to get in their car
go there
and go on the metro.
Yeah.
Mr. Agent, get in a metro,
100%.
get in your car.
It's very convenient to go by the metro over there.
Yeah, and get in your car and drive up there from my office door to door, and I'm in Emaar Golden Diamond Park, so we're very close to more of the Emirates. 22 minutes?
Yeah, exactly.
23 minutes?
I mean, for me, from Business Bay, it took me 35 minutes exactly to
Yeah.
reach Expo City.
Yeah.
And when I'm saying exactly means parking the car and going till the city
It's
centre.
10 minutes longer to get to 10 minutes less than JVC.
Yeah.
It's only another 10 minutes. Now, I've come from London. Now, if you told me that my journey to work in the morning was going to be less than 30 minutes, amazing.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Any major city in the world has got traffic issues.
Absolutely.
And the infrastructure that's in place for Expo was designed for 150,000 people a day to go and visit that.
Absolutely.
And it was probably designed for more than that, but it coped with 150,000 people a day going there. So I'm pretty certain it's going to be a fabulous development.
No, that is definitely
really gung-ho. And again, we talk about inexperienced agents. I sold a 2-bedroom apartment to actually someone who's a friend of mine. He wanted to invest in some property, and he went up there. He absolutely loved it. He then was telling me, I was speaking to a real estate agent, and they told me that it was a really bad investment and that I shouldn't have bought there. And of course, he's my friend, so of course I said, well, what did you say? And he said, well, I said to them, have you been there? And they said, no. I said, well, how do you know?
Yes.
It's so I see that as I really like Expo City. I think we've only just seen the surface of it. It's going to be amazing over the next few years. Those villas, the townhouses,
absolutely,
the nature reserve they got up there. I'm sorry, but you tell me where. I mean, that apartment in Mangrove Residences, if you put that quality and that size in Dubai, in the middle of Dubai, which is 30 minutes away, you'll be paying at least double.
Absolutely true. 100%.
So I love it. Their payment plan is just incredible.
I mean,
it's 8 years.
The payment plan, even the sizes are very nice.
Yes.
The layouts are really good.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
they're quite spacious, good layouts, good quality. You know, I mean, I feel it ticks practically all the boxes.
And it's not just government. It's like, it's the man.
Yes.
Top man is getting involved.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
You know.
What else do I like? I like JVC a lot. I'm falling back in love with JVC big time. I went off it for a few years, but now I'm getting back into it. I see some very good quality with the prices increasing in Dubai. There are some very good developers going in there. There's still some really bad ones.
Yes.
In those 6 people that we know about.
Yes.
There are still some bad ones, but there's some excellent properties being built in JVC, which you will always be able to rent out. There's a very popular area. It's getting better and better, more parks, etc. JVC I like, and obviously the metro opportunities coming there. Couple more I like, now you've asked me. I like Town Square a lot.
Yes.
I don't think people realise, again, people say, oh, it's too far away. But I'm sorry, you know someone very well who lives there.
Yeah, of course. I mean, especially the new launches, which where they've actually upgraded the apartments.
Yes,
I think they're really
and they're on
nice.
the park.
Yes,
and the price. Where can you buy a 2-bedroom apartment in Dubai for 1.1 million on a 50-50 payment plan by essentially a sister company to Emaar?
Yes, and a good community.
It's a great. People love living there.
Great community. People who live there, they love to live there.
Yeah.
So absolutely.
And you've got Five Guys now. Which I don't go to. I have to look after my body, but there's going to be more and more things going on there. I think that's an excellent place. It just needs, to be fair, the infrastructure needs to improve, but I think over the next 2 or 3 years,
I think that'll happen slowly.
Schools need to be there, some hospitals need to be there. But Al Qudra Road, where it's on, I know they've got to improve that. They must do that, and I'm sure it's in the plan. We've got Cherry Woods coming online soon, so that's going to add to the problem of traffic. But in the next 2 or 3 years, if you bought a property off plan today in Town Square, you're not going to get it till 2026 anyway. I really like the prices, I like the payment plan, and I like the quality of their new branding, their new finishes. I think it's really
very nice.
And I love those layouts of some of the apartments as well. And I also like those 3-bedroom townhouses they're selling, which are at the bottom of the building.
Yes.
Have you seen those?
Yes.
They're identical to the townhouses, but you have got the pool, you've got underground parking, you've got all the things that you don't have in a townhouse.
Sure.
Plus, you've still got a front garden. And what's the other one? Business Bay.
Yes. It's evolved.
What a difference. What a difference a few years has taken. I don't know whether I can put all the praise with Dubai properties. I think it's just a reflection of the market. I think there are developers that have owned land there for many years who have not been able to build the quality they want to build that reflects them as a developer. And I think there's some great projects there. I think when people start seeing, did you hear Select's office is opening?
Yes.
We're going to put a time base on this podcast, but unfortunately they're opening very shortly.
Very shortly.
And I think once you can go to their sales office at Peninsula and you can see, by the way, it's sold out.
Yes.
But if you can go to their sales office and you'll be able to visit some of their show apartments, which are going to be in the buildings. I think people are just going to go crazy for it.
Absolutely.
And I think it's going to help all of Business Bay.
Yeah.
Ellington, who we know and love, have got some great projects there.
True.
Their prices are a little high, but I think that we know that in 6 months' time, a year's time, those prices are going to be quite reasonable. But their quality is very good. There's a couple of developers that I wouldn't go with, but there's one or two that I definitely like in Business Bay, and I like the whole thing. Yeah, I like it a lot. What about you? What do you?
I mean, I love what's happening to Business Bay.
Yes,
and I think in the next 4 or 5 years, Business Bay, and even now we're seeing, with the kind of residences coming in, I think Business Bay will kind of overtake downtown in prices. We're already seeing with some of the luxury projects. And maybe not in the normal residential apartments, but in the high-end luxury segment, we're seeing Business Bay come up with some amazing projects. And, there we are seeing a lot of demand. and some very nice projects. For example, the Dorchester residences and stuff like that, which is coming up, is really amazing. The Business Bay is really taking shape. Yes, I don't like the traffic there. That needs to be fixed. But yeah, Business Bay, Expo City, as you said, I love that place. It's quite promising, and I've loved it from the time it launched. And Nashama, again, the new stuff which they're doing, the apartments, the upgraded ones, really, really nice.
1.1 million.
Yes, exactly. Good price point. I mean, that is where I see
square feet.
value, where a person can buy and then on a handover either sell or get a much better ROI.
Yeah, and the rents are good.
Exactly.
Rents are coming up. What are you going to rent that for now? I mean, 2 years ago, you could rent a two-bed from what, for 55,
Yeah.
60?
Yes.
Now it must be closer to 90, surely.
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a 9% gross return, or approaching. I mean, no, how could you go wrong?
Great. Absolutely.
How could you go wrong with that? It's great. And it's great for people who've already bought there
Yes.
as well, because it's going to lift the whole market up.
Absolutely.
It's all good.
True.
I've sold a lot there, as you know.
That's good.
I think I even sold your friend one, didn't I? Well, he bought it from me. It wasn't that difficult of a sale. But yes. What else? Yeah. So traffic. Tell me what your theory is behind, because I'm finding, I live in DIFC.
Yes. Oh, and it's horrible right now.
It is so bad.
Yes.
I'm even using the metro.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I really, really like. I don't like having to stand up next to each other because it gets a bit busy at certain times, but love them in the metro. So tell me what's your theory behind the traffic at the moment?
So I feel that Dubai right now is full. When I say full, means a lot of people in the city, a lot of events happening and stuff like that. But at the same time, I think the infrastructure, the government is also upgrading. And I feel, yes, it is. See, I mean, traffic is going to increase with the kind of population increase and growth. But I feel they will come up with some sort of solution where it should ease out once the new roads and the new metro is in place. I think it's one of the things which we have to deal with as a growing city, because you cannot find a city which is really growing, has population is growing, the city is growing, and the traffic is going down. But yes, I think public transport is something which I think the government is, as we hear, the new metro line is also going to be starting, work soon. So I think, these things in the next few years should get better.
To be honest, look, I've always found with traffic in Dubai that you kind of go through this pain of 3 to 6 months of really heavy traffic, and then something happens, like they open a new road.
A new road opens up,
or
something
a new
comes
tunnel,
in.
or something happens. When I first got here, 2003, where there was only Sheikh Zayed Road and Emirates Road. That's it. And in fact, Emirates Road isn't the same as the Emirates Road now.
Yes.
It's called something else now. I don't know what it's called. People know what the number
311.
is. I have no. Is it 311?
Yeah.
Is it? See, I wouldn't even know that. So I don't even know what Sheikh Zayed Road number is, or Al Khail. But anyway, the traffic was really, really bad. Like if you wanted to go from where I'm working now to the airport, you didn't know whether it was going to take you 25 minutes or an hour and a half. And then things got sorted, and for the last 15 years, you can pretty much time your journey down to the minute.
True.
Just recently, it's become
very bad.
Very bad.
Yeah.
So, and I live in DIFC, and I've got no plans on moving because I strongly believe, even though I'm having to go through this enormous amounts of pain to get home in the evening, getting to work in the morning is no problem because I'm going. But all the people who are going to the IFC, to all the restaurants, all the new nightclubs or whatever is opening. I don't know if there are nightclubs at the IFC. Far too old to go to nightclubs, but there's something going on there in the evening because there's people travelling to the IFC until 2-3 o'clock in the morning. But I strongly hope and believe, more believe than hope, that the government, RTA, will get it sorted. Because you can't build these prime properties and then expect people to
travel 1-2 hours.
Having said that, I live in a building in DIC. Say, when I look in my parking spot, I know that the building is fully occupied.
Yes.
But a lot of those people don't have cars because they're actually using the metro or they're walking to work because it's in the financial district. They live there because they want to work. They want to be near the office. So, Yeah, hopefully things. And there's some great projects coming up in DIFC,
Yes,
and some very big money is being invested there
Yes.
by people that we couldn't even dream to even talk to,
No.
or even have the opportunity of selling their properties. But they, I'm pretty sure, are well aware of the traffic issues. Yeah,
But I'm sure Dubai will do it.
I'm sure.
Yes.
Look, you drive down Sheikh Zayed Road. Even today, you can see you see an interchange number, and then you see, it's jumped 3,
Yes.
and there isn't anything there.
There's
They know
plenty,
they're going to do
exactly.
something. They know
Oh,
it.
that's
You
fine.
go up on Scheme Road, they widened it up to the
That is-
ranches, and there's still
Yeah.
plenty of room for them to
Sure.
widen those roads.
Absolutely.
They know what they're doing.
I think, Stephen, that was a great
we
conversation.
finished?
Yes,
I
we're
enjoyed
finished.
that too much.
Yes, we're already done. We're running out of time over here now. So I think that was lovely to have you back. And I think
Yes.
we'll have to do this once again after a
Yeah.
couple of months.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yes,
Let's do it. Try and
we
do
need
it
to
every
do
3
that.
months or so.
Yes, that's great.
Because people will miss me.
Absolutely, they will. Okay, thank you so much, Stephen,
Thank
for
you.
coming on the
Thank
show.
you very much.
It was a pleasure
Same.
talking to you.